give us just a little introduction here to yourself and your company.
Yeah, great to be on, Darius. So Paul Higgins from Build, Live, Give, and I work with coaches and consultants to help them build businesses and lifestyles.
Very cool, very cool. Then all right, let's just go ahead and recap a couple of things we're going to be going over. I know you had some questions about the Chrome extension for screen recordings, right?
Yeah.
And then also some best practices around resolutions of like default resolutions of screen recordings and videos in general.
Spot on.
Good deal. All right, so let me see. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you for most of this, as that's going to make the most sense. Just give me 1 second here. We're going to go to share. All right. And you guys can see my screen here, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so the way that the Chrome extension works is there's actually going to be a nice little video. I'm going to give you a quick recap here, but there's going to be a video that does go step by step of every little specific nuance of the Chrome extension. But let me go ahead and just pop them open here so you can see. Actually, you should be logged in here. Sorry, this browser's been sitting here for a minute. So this is a good point, though. If you open up the Chrome extension and you see that it says this message, you are required to log into it. And you want to be careful of something that you're logged into the same account on both your Chrome extension and on the website itself. So, when you log into the Dubb.com website, it'll automatically log you into your profile.
Yes.
My computer's having some issue.
You're probably like me, you got too many tabs open.
Yeah, that may be it. This one's also been sitting here for a while here. Let me actually go back to my other one real quick. Let me stop the share for just a second here. Sorry, guys.
I'll kind of chime in here. Hey, guys, it's Ruben. So there's a couple of different things that we're trying to solve with Chrome extensions and specifically with our screen recording capability. So, we've invested a lot of time and a lot of money, frankly, into the Dubb Chrome extension. And the problem really that it's trying to solve is that people have become visual learners. And people like to see things in order to trust them. It's difficult for people to be able to make a connection with something unless there's a visual for it. So a lot of the value that we provide in business, it's things that we can see on the screen. It's demos, it's dashboards, it's PDFs, it's processes, it's slides. The Dubb Chrome extension and also the Dubb desktop app, because a lot of people actually don't know that we have a desktop app. So to get that, you can go to dubb.com/desktop-app. And that works for Mac and PC. And I'll put a link just a moment down below. But these two things are really going to allow you to share your screen we've seen videos that go up to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I've seen people go as long as 60 minutes. I don't personally feel comfortable recording that long of a video in the cloud because if there's a Wi-Fi disconnection, or if there's something that goes on, you might lose it. So, in the event that you already have a screen recording from another service that you use, perhaps QuickTime, perhaps Zoom, then what you can do is you can actually upload that MP4 as well. So Darius is going to get into this right now. In order to actually do the screen recordings, you do need the Dubb Chrome extension. So in order to do that, just either Google Dubb Chrome extension or go to dubb.co/Chrome. And that's for free. You can get that. And then here we go with a nice demo from Darius.
Yeah. So as Ruben mentioned, you can always just type in Dubb Chrome extension. It's going to be that link there, not this first little excerpt, but the link here. That'll take you to the place. It'll allow you to install. You'll also see my browser needs an update here. So be sure that you're on the latest version of Chrome before you do an install. Make sure your browser is up to date, then install the Chrome extension. You can see here mine's already installed. Once that happens, a couple of other things as well. You cannot begin a recording on this page usually. So you'll see, get this message. It says, whoops. And this isn't anything with the bug or anything like that. It's just you can't begin recording on this specific Google page. So you can type in google.com and you record from that page, but just not that one we were on. Okay, so the way the screen recorder works is just give it a click. It's going to open it up. As I mentioned, you do need to be logged into it, logged into the same one you are on the website. You'll notice a couple of options at the top. There is a thing here for full screen record. So if you want to record basically everything on your screen, including other browser tabs, if I minimize this, it's going to record my desktop. The only thing with the full screen option is you can see there's this little preview down here. This can either be your profile picture or your live webcam feed, whichever one you want to use, or just your voice. But if you're recording your desktop, the profile picture or the webcam will not actually be visible. So if I'm recording my browser, I do have this webcam feed on no matter where I'm recording. It will have to reload as I'm switching through tabs like that. So if I am doing a screen recording, let's see, and I'm changing tabs, it will have to refresh that little webcam preview here. Let me go ahead and show you. So as I'm doing a screen recording, you'll notice as I jump between tabs, it does a little reload like that. So again, that's not a bug. That is how browser-based screen recorders work. So that is how you would create a full screen recording. As I mentioned, that one's going to record everything on the screen, desktop icons, everything that's going on. There's also a current tab option, which records actually just the current tab you have selected. So it's not going to show your other icons. It's not going to show anything. You guys can still see my screen here, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I can.
I'm not seeing share my screen thing, so just making sure. Okay, so
And Darius, is there one where you can actually select? So sometimes there's 3 options, the 2 that you've just highlighted, but the third one is that you can select a particular area. Do you have that as an option?
That option's not currently available, so you wouldn't be able to do a particular part of the screen at this time. Yeah, it's either going to be the entire tab or the full screen.
Okay.
So at this time, the only way we would be able to do like a partial screen recording is you could create the screen recording on Dubb, but then you would have to use like a video editor, like an Adobe Premiere or After Effects or something like that, to crop the video file itself to be a selected part of the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the 2 options for full screen, current tab option. There is also a little annotation tool on here, as well as some screen recorder controls. Let me just make sure I cover those real quick. So if I hit record, couple of things. If I actually wait at this screen before I've selected which screen I want to share, you'll see these controls appear here. This one will allow you to expand the webcam. So you can actually start your videos with a full screen preview, kind of like this. I can hit share, and then now the recordings began full screen. And then I can minimize it, to partial screen as I'm creating this recording. There's also an annotation tool over here. So I can say, click here for this, sign here, underline here, whatever I need to do. To make the presentations a little bit more dynamic. So annotation tools, webcam, expansion, contraction, pause buttons, and you'll notice keyboard shortcuts for all these things as well. So you can pause with the keyboard or upload or throw away. Just be really careful if you've done a recording, make sure you're hitting the check mark button and not anything like the cancel. Once you've actually uploaded a recording, some things you'll notice is it'll take you to this page. If for any reason it ever gets stuck here, you'll make sure you have your cookies enabled. Make sure if the progress is not loading, you'll actually get a message down here that says video stuck, download the original, and then you can re-upload it if for whatever reason there was a network issue or something like that. There's also sometimes a message that'll get displayed that said your video's been eaten by a unicorn or something, and that's typically a result of being logged into a different account on your browser than you are on the extension. So as I mentioned in the beginning, that's a pretty important thing, is to make sure you're logged into both the same accounts on both those tools.
Darius, just a quick question. Sometimes when you record or add a video up, or you record on the web version, it brings up a screen where you can share it to email, etc. If you can't directly share it to email, yeah, that one there. So when I go direct email,
yeah.
What's that actually meant to do? Because I keep trying to send it to Gmail and I just can't get it to work.
Yeah, I don't know. There's quite a few prerequisites to using this section of the site. One is you have to configure an email provider directly to Dubb, which means connecting your Gmail account. So you're going to come in here to settings. There's actually a nice video in our little tutorial center. Let me make sure I show you this guy here. Right in this eye icon is our video tutorial center. And there's going to be bite-sized videos in here for everything that the platform does, including the whole Chrome extension demo that I just gave you. There's a 6-7 minute video in here going over, like I said, really deep detail about how that Chrome extension works, each one of those buttons in there. The other thing is what we were just referring to on the website, this direct email send. There's a nice video over here, campaign management, which is going to go over those prerequisites, this one here. So the first thing is, as I mentioned, connecting an email directly to Dubb. So what that means is, actually, I guess the first step is probably a physical address to be CAN spam compliant. So you have to put in a physical address there. Under campaign settings, you can come and add an email. You can use a Gmail or any SMTP provider. whatever you're using, you can configure here to Dubb. Once those two prerequisites are met, you also have to make sure that the video is shared. This checkbox right here, it says share with team and allow collaboration. This checkbox has to be selected in order for a video to be shared directly, because otherwise you'll come in here, choose the email you want to send it from. Maybe you want to send it to, there's a subject, personalization. And when I send this now, you're going to see it says check input because I did not check that box.
Right.
So,
would it help if that was a default? Like, what's the downside of having it as a default?
I'm sorry, having what is the default?
Having that as a default set, that's always ticked.
This one here?
Yeah, rather than you having to.
Yeah, no, I would say sometimes, especially in our team settings, most people prefer to have their videos to their accounts only by default. Because if this box is checked, every video you create will automatically be visible to all team members and things like that. But I mean, to your point, I mean, I don't see why it couldn't hurt to make this a smart switch to when you select that will be the default setting moving forward. The problem is though, is most of our other switches here, when you check one of these boxes, like if you come into your design and you set this as your default, that's a setting that you typically want to remain the same. Whereas the privacy thing, wanting your videos to be shared with your teammates, that's usually not the case. So,
Sure.
Yeah, based on that result is the reason we have that setting the way it is, though.
Yeah, and then that switch is actually automatic for a single user. So if there's one user on your account, that's going to go and automatically be checked or activated.
There you go. That's a cool thing as well. So yeah, if you're on the team one, this is a little bit more important.
Yeah, great. So that's excellent. So I've seen now how I can record my screen, and then I can send it. If I configure it right, I can send it straight through Gmail. What are some of the other options then to send it?
Right. A couple of things actually. So you're a Gmail user then, right?
Yeah.
All right. So within Gmail,
who in small business isn't?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the majority of people at this point.
Correct.
Okay, so if I actually have a direct integration with Gmail, let me see if yours is going to load up. And this is as long as you have the Chrome extension installed, you will have this Gmail add-on available. So here, as soon as my Gmail wants to load, the way this guy works is it's going to be similar to our LinkedIn add-on and a couple of other places. Just taking a sweet time right now, trying to think of what else I can show you here in between that loading forever. Okay, we were talking about resolution. So that was one of the other points here. The way that our platform works is whatever you record the video in, it will be available for playback up to as high as that quality, up to 1080p. So like if you're filming in 4K, we won't support 4K. We can do 1080. And so if you're recording in 1080, you will be able to select the video playback as high as that. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean here. So here is a screen recording that I created just now. You saw that?
Yeah, Darius, if you can just go back to screen.
Oh, not sharing the screen?
Yeah.
All right. 1 second here.
Gotcha. Oh.
All right. You see my screen, right?
Yep. Got it.
Okay. Just have the load. No, it did not. Okay. So back here in the screen recording, you guys saw that I created this guy, and now I have a bigger screen. It's like a 17-inch or whatever, so I can select as high as 1080p. If you're on a really small monitor and you're doing a screen recording, you will only be able to select as high as 720. So that's the only thing there with screen recordings. And if it's like a webcam or cell phone video or fancy camera, whatever you're using, we'd be able to select as high as 1080 as long as the original recording goes up to that resolution.
Right. And is it you who sets that default, or can the person that's viewing it change it as well?
The person on the recipient's end, great question, is the one that's going to be able to change that on their end at the time that they're watching it. What our system does is it has kind of an intelligent delivery technology that it's based on whatever their internet connection speed and their device type is. It's going to deliver a quality of the video that's going to be optimized for viewing. So if they're on their mobile data on a cell phone, it's likely going to deliver a 360 to really help that load time be very quick. There's no buffering and things like that. Whereas if they're on desktop or on high-speed internet, it's going to be much more likely to deliver them 720, At this time, it's not going to default to 1080 we can't make it default to 1080 at this time because we've noticed it's a significantly slower load time. We've determined that playability, load speed is a lot more important than a little bit of enhanced graphics. Because both 720 and 1080 are both HD. They're both going to show, fine detail on the screen in terms of like text and things like that. So currently, we would only be able to default as high as 720. But as I mentioned, the recipient can always select whatever playback quality is available to them.
Okay, great. And oh, sorry, you keep going.
Sorry, I know. I'm just trying to see if my Gmail is going to ever load here. It does not want to work, as it looks like. I've hit compose probably 5 times now. Okay, so back to resolution. You had some more questions?
No. So it was just about the editing. If you just go back, how you can edit that screencast.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple light editing features. What we can do is trim off the beginning and the end. So all you do is you move the slider along wherever you want it to start, and then you click set current frame as start. Same thing goes to the end. If you wherever you want the video to end, click set current frame as end. This does not edit the original file. So if you created the screen recording here, and if I go to download the screen recording, it is going to be the original untrimmed version. So it's not actually editing the original file. It's just doing like a trim for the playback.
Right.
So that's that. Subtitles here, you can upload your SRTs, and then you can upload a custom thumbnail as well, either a GIF or a PNG, JPEG, whatever you want, or you can use any point along the video for that to be your thumbnail as well.
Great.
Okay.
That would have helped me before with a lot of embarrassing mouth opens, etc.
Sorry about that. Yeah, glad you got that information at least now. Okay, cool. Finally, Gmail loaded. So this is what it's going to look like when we're in Gmail. You see this little Dubb icon down here, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you have the Chrome extension installed and you're logged into it, refresh your Gmail, and then you will have this button available to you. Unless like maybe you have a lot of other extensions down here or something else causing interference, we should definitely have that button. The other thing is if you're on a really small screen, again, it might hide this. So hit maximize, zoom out of your screen, things like that. So other way that works though is when you click on it, it will open up your library of existing videos. You saw that one we just recorded. So I can say video for Bob or whoever it's for, throw it in there. So that's the way you're going to insert those videos. So you mentioned, directly emailing him here from the platform. You might even find it easier to just email and select them from there.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously you can add multiple as well from that. Yeah,
exactly. You can select anything that you're already recorded. You just grab it, insert, and you can do it again. Just be aware of where your cursor is. Because wherever your cursor is where it's going to insert that video. So you see my cursor's somewhere, like if it's right there, that's where it's going to insert the video. That's not where I'd want it because that's in my email signature. So just be careful with wherever your cursor is. You'll notice it also places some formatting in the video. So it's kind of hard to get back up in here, like if I wanted to put in some text before that. So I always recommend inserting the text before the video. So I would say, hey, Bob, check out this video, or whatever I want to say to him. Say the message, then insert the video through the extension. You can also record a brand new one here as well. So I could just hit record and do that. It sounds like you'd be probably doing a little bit more of the screen recordings. So you would use the Chrome extension to create the recording, and then you would insert it probably right through here after you finish it.
Yeah, no, look, and I do both. So I do a lot of, instead of leaving boring follow-up emails now, I try to add value. So I say, this is something that I've seen on your LinkedIn post that,
Nice.
You could improve. I do something like that, or I just do it to camera. So, yeah, I had more steps. So this has been really helpful because it's reducing steps and friction for me for doing it. So, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. The other thing you might always consider here is let's just take a look at one of my video pages here. Just love to give a quick breakdown. So depending on what your goal is, we always recommend to have a couple of features on that page for people to, to capture a conversion. Because, there's the ultimate thing we want them to do. Like in my case, it's usually to book a time to, have a consultation. But for whatever your use case is, you might have other things. You might be trying to build up registrants for like an event or a webinar or something like that. We always recommend to get the most out of your video pages. So like everything on here is a default for me. So if I hit record right now, it's going to apply this calendar. It's going to apply our social proof, our customer success stories, webinar registration. So I always recommend having your video pages just built up with as much value as we can for both you and the recipient. It's valuable for you because, you know, they're downloading stuff, they're getting into your ecosystem, they're becoming, you know, engaged, and it's valuable for them, hopefully, because you've provided them something of value to kind of engage with.
Excellent.
Yeah, so definitely recommend taking advantage of both the playlist and the additional CTAs. So the way the playlist works is, you know, as soon as that first video is finished, it transitions into the next video without needing to download or install or, you know, click anything. So that's really valuable for when you have that. Hey, first name, I saw your LinkedIn post, wanted to share something with you. Let me know what you think. And then it goes into a pre-recorded video of you doing your spiel where, you know, it's maybe your 2 or 3 minute pitch that you've had for other people.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So those are some elements of that video page. I highly recommend making sure you're getting the most out of it.
Fantastic. Well, that's been really helpful for me. Really appreciate the product.
Yeah, we got a hard stop here too, right?
Yeah, it's a great product. I know you guys constantly innovate. You're always taking my feedback on and changing things. So yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. So if you're not on Dubb and you're you know, doing any B2B business, I recommend going and checking it out ASAP.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. All right, Paul.
Thanks, Darius. Thanks, Ruben.
Paul.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right.